Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of This Is Our Life. Okay, this is another one to, it's really for all you liberals out there, but you gotta love Mark Bunker because he's one of the biggest hypocrites in the world. You say fascism is ultra-conservative or ultra-right-wing. Actually, it's not, and I've said this before. Fascism was developed by liberals. I'm going to provide you a couple of links. Not necessarily the best links, but I'm going to provide you some. Liberals developed fascism. Liberals developed fascism. These were socialists. It's just another form of socialism. Have you ever looked at the Nazi platform? I'm going to read some things for you. Oh, actually, I don't have it up. Let's see if I can get it up for you real fast. Here we go. I had it up a minute ago. So, some of the things that you can look at the United States today, and you can look at the United States under, oh gosh, my memory just went, FDR, and then you look at Franco, who I happen to live under. I experienced fascism. Many of you have never lived under a system like that. I have. You haven't. I know what I'm talking about. You don't. Fascism is socialism. One of the aspects of fascism was to take care of the elderly and the children. Universal health care. Universal education. Removal of child labor. Now, I happen to think getting rid of child labor to a large extent is a good thing. Although, as a boy, I worked on a farm. Everybody worked. It wasn't slave labor, I can guarantee you that. My mother and uncle, they worked on a farm doing real work that I never came close to when they were growing up. And they picked cotton, they pulled tobacco leaves, they pulled taters. I didn't have to do that kind of work. But, another aspect of fascism and socialism, communism, monarchism, etc., is you get rid of the opposition, including the media. And I see how people like how the admitted left, the people who are admittedly on the left, like to attack Fox News, claiming that it's conservative and it's not honest. Well, it's just as honest as the rest of the news, or should I say news, because it's not news. None of it's news. It's propaganda, state propaganda. How many of you said, well, Bush's children never served in the military, so unless his children served, well, guess what? Obama's children never served in the military either, and he's not going to make them serve. He's going to do everything to keep them from having to go in. They're not going to have to go in. I opposed Bush. I opposed Obama. You, on the other hand, are hypocrites. Universal health care, socialism, fascism. The Obamacare, which even the Obama administration is calling in ads Obamacare, it benefits the government and the insurance companies. It does not benefit the people. More and more companies are putting all or most of their employees part-time, because if they're full-time, we have to do all this nonsense, which actually means people are going to have less health care, not more. Weaker health care, not better. So we have universal education, universal health care, demand land reform, immigration reform. Going after those, I don't have glasses that I can read with, so it's difficult. But going after the enemies of the people, the enemies of the state, like the United States now goes after Muslims who had not done anything to the United States, but now that the United States has done something to them, they now do things to us. When you kill all these children that Obama is killing with drone attacks, and not just drone attacks, the rapes, the molestations, the murders, the torture, that still goes on. Obama administration admits it still goes on. Guantanamo Bay is still open. He could close that with the stroke of a pen, and he hasn't done it, and he refuses to do it.
So what is this artifact?
I opposed all these wars. Now we have new wars. We have more wars. We have more Americans dying. Not fewer Americans dying. For what? For oil? For the bankers? You people are sick. You're sick. What can I say? You're sick. We demand the creation of a healthy middle class. Well, the United States, this is part of the Nazi program now I'm reading from. Okay? And it's conservation and immediate. I can't read everything because of my glasses, but I've read this before. I'm looking at it again. For the people to have higher education for the people. I hear that as well. From the left. Don't you understand? You're supporting fascism. I lived this under Franco in Spain. You did not. I did. I know what I'm talking about. I was a history major. I studied history. I enjoy reading history. I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. I've read Trotsky. I've read Marx. I've read Lenin. I've read Hitler. I've read Mussolini. It's all the freaking same, and you're supporting it. What is government regulation? That's ownership of property. Government taxation, ownership of property. There is no such thing as private property in the United States anymore. If I don't do everything the government wants with my property, then they can take it, therefore it's not my property. That house of yours, if you don't do to it what the government tells you to do to it, then it's no longer your property. They'll come in and take it. If eminent domain, the government just comes in and takes property all the time without legitimate reason. So, who were the intellectuals that established fascism in Italy and Germany? They were the left. They were the liberals, and they admitted that. And at the time, people admitted that fascism was just another form of liberalism, another form of socialism, and it was acceptable. Look at all the people that supported it at the time. Henry Ford was one of them. So, think about it, people. Mark Bunker, you're a freaking hypocrite. How can you oppose what Scientology does and support the same thing when the government does it? You're sick. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And it is wrong. It's wrong for Scientology. It's wrong for the government. The government is looking at all the emails and everything. They have all sorts of, do you realize that schools have been spying on kids with their webcams? It looks like the webcam is off, but the schools watched, and the schools got in trouble for it. That was on NBC and CBS and ABC. Oh, but we're going to, of course. It doesn't really happen, does it? Even though it happens, we're going to say it just doesn't happen. We're going to stick our heads in the sand. Sick, man. You're just sick.